Coming up on OU Nightly, rain and storms here to stay. I have the details.
Plus, what OU students think about some major news from Washington, D.C., and the latest on the tragedy from Rose State College. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Sydney Wallace.
And I'm Cameron Joyner. We begin tonight with a gloomy and wet day. OU Nightly meteorologist Colton Williams says more rain is on the way.
Yeah, that's right, ladies. Woke up to a round of rain going on this morning. That has now kind of pushed off to our east. Still some heavier rain going on near the Oklahoma-Kansas border, but we will have a second round develop off to our southwest as we go into the evening, but right now mostly quiet here in Norman. A couple of small pockets from Yukon over to the Village, back west to El Reno going on right now. But as we go into this evening, that second round will have the chance to bring a moderate risk for flooding, and we know how Norman floods. So we go out to Catherine Liberta. Now she's live on the South Oval with an update on the flooding situation and what else we could see tonight. Catherine?
Yeah, that's right, Colton. It's pretty dry out here right now because like you said, that round of showers moved east of us, but we're going to have a second round of showers coming in a little later tonight. If you look behind me, you can see these are the flower beds on the South Oval here at OU, and they've covered them, and there's still some standing water from that round of showers earlier today. Now, they're trying to keep the dirt a little bit dry, as you can see, and the ground has been pretty dry here at OU for the last couple of days. So when we have such a great amount of rain come in, such a large amount of rain come in such a short period of time, that's what's going to cause that flooding risk. So we're going to be tracking that later in the newscast. Colton Williams is going to have all of that coming up later in the show. We are dry right now here on campus. I'm going to toss it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Catherine. Yeah, that's the story. Several rounds of rain on the way, plus this cool air is here to stay. I've got the details on the next storm system. For now, ladies, back to you.
Thanks, Colton. President Joe Biden released a video this morning announcing his re-election campaign. Jayden Brannon is live in the newsroom with more about the campaign and how students here are feeling about that announcement. Jayden?
Cameron, Sydney, President Joe Biden did release a pre-produced video this morning stating his plans to run for re-election, and Biden says he's battling for the soul of America.
That's why I'm running for re-election.
Serving as the oldest president in U.S. history, if re-elected, President Biden would remain in office until he was 86 years old. But his age has some members of the younger generations concerned.
I think it should just be a little bit more aware of how age can and is affecting politicians that are needing to make very important, real-time, like second-to-second decisions.
Many young adults wish that someone younger would step up and take a chance at office.
In my opinion, I think we need really young people in the office, like max age 50s.
It worries me in the sense that I'm frustrated that young people aren't stepping up more to counter it, but that's just the status quo.
And one hot topic of conversation, a potential rematch between President Biden and former President Trump.
I really don't want that because it's just too, I guess, politicized. It's just too polarizing, I think, against the whole country.
I'm kind of tired of the lesser of two evils, at least in my opinion. So hopefully we can get someone younger in the mix.
Now for the Democrats, a generational change in leadership is on hold after the president's announcement. Live in the newsroom, Jayden Brannon, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Jayden. An update to breaking news we first brought you yesterday. Midwest City Police say 30-year-old Brandon Morissette is the gunman accused of shooting and killing a 20-year-old student named RJ Long Jr. A police affidavit states the suspect's wife told officers that her husband was upset because he thought she was having an affair with the victim. According to the police, the victim and the suspect's wife are both Rose State students. Detectives say Morissette surrendered when officers arrived on the scene.
In a day of appreciation at the White House today, President Joe Biden and the First Lady honored the 2023 Teachers of the Year. The spotlight shining brightly on a teacher from Oklahoma. Gaylord News' Gabriela Tumani has more from Washington.
Well, it's a beautiful day out here at the White House today, and it was one big day for one Oklahoma teacher. She walked the lawns of the White House to be honored by the president and the First Lady. Take a look.
Today, I stand in front of you with the name Rebecca Peterson.
A wave of excited applause erupted in the Rose Garden at the White House yesterday when Rebecca Peterson, a high school math teacher from Tulsa, was honored by the president and First Lady Biden as the 2023 Teacher of the Year. A Swedish-Iranian immigrant, Rebecca thanked her family and her teachers, who she said channeled their influence for good and inspire her to follow their path.
I want to bring the good news of joy and hope to my students and to reciprocate that gift of education that my teachers gave me.
Rebecca was joined by First Lady Joe Biden and President Biden, who highlighted her accomplishments as an immigrant to a math teacher and the importance of teachers for the country.
Teachers change lives. And I think that message matters more than ever.
In an interview with OU Nightly over the phone, Rebecca acknowledged the current teacher shortage in the country and highlighted the need for teachers, saying they are the fabric of our communities in a profession that makes all other professions possible.
May we be an example of creativity and service, modeling the importance of curiosity in both the big and the small moments. May we learn how to belong to ourselves so we can belong to each other.
When I spoke with Rebecca over the phone after the ceremony, she said it was just a surreal moment to be able to shake hands with the president and the First Lady, and that she's grateful for Oklahoma teachers. Reporting live in Washington, D.C. for one last time for OU Nightly, I'm Gabriela Tumani.
Thanks, Gabriela. A Taylor Swift fan killed on his way home from the Stars concert this past weekend. Ireland Fitzer has that and the rest of today's national headlines from the News Center.
Police say 20-year-old Jacob Lewis was killed in a hit and run while leaving the show in Houston. Officers say Lewis and his sister were driving home when their car stalled Saturday night. Police say Lewis got out of the car to push it, and that's when the alleged drunk driver hit and killed him.
Knowing that we had that experience as our last memory is something wonderful to hold on to, and I will forever.
His family is accepting donations through GoFundMe. The suspect is behind bars. In Washington, Governor Jay Inslee signs a bill banning the sale and import of assault weapons in the state. The ban covers more than 50 gun models, including AR-15s and AK-47s. Licensed dealers can still sell these guns to military or law enforcement. Washington is now the 10th U.S. state to ban selling assault weapons. Medical providers say states' abortion laws are confusing. In a study done here in Oklahoma, researchers acted like a patient asking for emergency care. Not one of the hospital's called gave a clear policy for their abortion procedure to save a pregnant woman's life. In response to the study, the Oklahoma Hospital Association is seeking clarity to provide better guidance for its members. Cameron, Sydney.
There's not going to be any debates on this moon landing.
When we come back, how a pirate company almost made it to the moon. Try it. Plus, a glimpse into the future for first responders.
A look at New York's newest piece of technology when we come back. Today, the first attempted moon landing in a commercially developed spacecraft, now lost in space. OU Nightly's Carolynn Felling joins us in the studio with what went wrong in today's science and technology.
It's a Japanese company that sent this rocket into space. Today at 12:40, the spacecraft was set to land, and the company lost connection just moments before the landing as they lost communication. The company would have been the first private business to pull off a lunar landing, and now they say they are planning a second attempt for next year. And the man accused of killing the founder of a popular money transfer app has had his hearing delayed. Cash App owner Bob Lee was stabbed to death in San Francisco in early April. Police say the two men knew each other and were riding in a car together before the stabbing. Attorneys are asking for more time to prepare. And now switching gears, in New York, new technology is believed to change the way fire and police departments save lives. Take a look at this. It's a robotic dog that can hear victims and also send critical information back to emergency responders. This dog can sit, walk, and stand up. The departments will use the robot for hazmat situations or even help when buildings collapse. And instead of grabbing a paper and pen, Apple is now working on a new journaling app. The company says they want this to be available to the public to help with mental and physical health. Cameron, Sydney.
Thanks, Carolyn. One of the most anticipated events of the year here on OU's campus is underway.
A look ahead at that preparation when we come back. Now, I bet that all those people that have tickets to fill the stadium are probably wondering what that weather's going to look like.
That's right, and OU Nightly's meteorologist Colton Williams has more for us.
Yeah, that's right, ladies. We'll have rain chances going on throughout the week. I'll tell you about the weekend coming up. Welcome back to OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us. Woke up to a round of rain going on this morning, and this is the first of several waves going on now. As we did have that main wave, that's now making its way into Arkansas. Right now, more rain and storms going on in northern Oklahoma. The back end of it now starting to cross I-35 from Newkirk down to Stillwater, and eastward a couple of showers going on from Hennessy all the way back to Fairview, but this is all going to expand in coverage overnight tonight and into tomorrow. As round number 3 comes along, you see this boundary moving here southward towards Frederick. Storms are going to fire up, move eastward, have a couple chances for some severe weather in far southern Oklahoma. The rest of us, good old-fashioned rain. So yeah, severe weather outlook, I think along the Red River, have a couple severe storms here and there. Here in Oklahoma City, the most we're going to have is rumbles of thunder and some flash flooding, and that is possible overnight tonight, as we have already seen 1/3 of an inch of rain in Norman. But check out the Enid Mesonet site, 1.4, and some of our northeastern friends, 1 to 2. We're going to tack on 2 to 3 more inches to everybody here by the time this week is said and done. So a good amount of rainfall on the way. Okay, so again, cloud cover. Yeah, this is going to be what you need to get used to the next several days, because cloud cover is going to hang out maybe a little dreary, a little quiet, low 50s right now out there. No rainfall being reported, but a nice easterly breeze. It feels pretty chilly out there if you get out here on this Tuesday evening. Overnight tonight and into this evening, we'll look for, again, showers and thunderstorms are going to return. We'll hang out in the low 50s. Temperature is not going to change much on this, even as rain and storms move in. Okay, so overnight tonight, rain and storms, that breeze will prevail, but we'll only jump to the upper 40s, so not changing much in the way of temperature. Before then tomorrow, as we get overnight tonight, this is a look into far northwestern Oklahoma. Rain and storms on their way into tomorrow morning. I think the morning commute will be wet tomorrow morning. This may cause some problems on the roadways as we get into your Wednesday morning, especially in the Oklahoma City metro. By lunchtime, rainfall stays and hangs out. Okay, so lots of rainfall on the way over the next day or two. By tomorrow evening, one final shot of rain, especially in central and south central Oklahoma. Maybe a couple of showers and storms off to the west and southwest. But then good news, by Thursday, we look to be mostly dry. There's another quick wave coming in here. I'll show you that in just a second. But the next several days, 100% chance of rain now, tomorrow and into Thursday. But notice those temperatures, they don't change a whole awful lot. And yeah, this is additional rainfall. So tack these numbers onto what I showed you a few minutes ago. Looking for good time rain totals here. Okay, so tomorrow again, moderate risk, may have to include a high risk in here, depending on where we go over the next hour or so. Before we'll have to check that out into the next couple of hours here. Okay, so all right, right now jet stream overhead, but as we get into the next couple of days, this flash flood threat, that's going to make its way out of here, and then we will finally set up. We'll have a quick shot of weekend rain, then we'll set up underneath some high pressure. Then it will be time to watch this storm system off the west coast. All right, so 50s for your high tomorrow. By the time we get to Thursday and Friday, mid 60s. Notice, ladies, we hang out below average, but the good news is fill the stadium on Saturday. Check that out. No rain chances, just some cloud cover. So should be a good one for that event.
That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. I know we were wondering, is this going to be kind of a drought buster, all this rain we're getting?
Yeah, this is going to be tremendous in terms of denting the drought, and so this is much, much needed rainfall. We'll take it, especially without severe weather. So.
That's awesome. I mean, I know my street always floods. Every time we have rain, our street floods.
Absolutely.
Every time.
Well, thanks, Colton. And students on campus have noticed extra traffic earlier today. Fill the Stadium concert setup has started and will feature Chance the Rapper and other artists. The event Saturday night is sold out, but the first 4,000 people at Field Tunnels 5 and 7 will receive wristbands for field access. Gates will open at 5 p.m.
Spring sports are in full swing, but
the rain's causing havoc for 2 Sooner sports. Zoe Watson has that in sports.
Is affected by the rain, and Brent Venables wrangled a longhorn on Monday. I'll have all the details next. Hello, I'm Zoe Watson, and it's time for sports. Over the weekend, the Oklahoma football spring game saw new faces making big plays, and the team added more new faces to their offensive roster. After the game, former Texas receiver Brennan Thompson crossed the Red River and committed to Oklahoma on Monday. The 5'10", 168-pound wide receiver has 3 years of eligibility remaining. And former Michigan State tight end Hampton Fay committed to OU last night too. Fay was originally a quarterback out of high school, but transitioned to the tight end with the Spartans. Through 3 rounds, the Oklahoma men's golf team continues to make a statement at the Big 12 Championship. OU is the only team under par and holds an 11-shot lead. The 10th-ranked Sooners look to repeat as conference champions for the first time since 1956 and 1957. At the moment, OU is still in the lead at 2 under par. In Oklahoma baseball, junior Carter Campbell is named Big 12 Pitcher of the Week after helping the Sooners to a series sweep over Texas. In the 3 appearances last week, Campbell pitched 8 innings with 1 run on 5 hits and no walks. The rain in Norman stops OU baseball and softball today. OU baseball was set to face Oral Roberts at 6:30 p.m., and the next time they take the field is against Kansas this weekend at L. Dell Mitchell Park. And softball's first pitch was set for 6 p.m. at Wichita State. Their next game is tomorrow against Tulsa in Norman. And on Monday, Jalen Hurts had a historic payday, but he says money isn't everything. Hurts is now the highest paid player in the NFL after officially signing his new 5-year deal for $255 million with a signing bonus of $23 million. He said in a press conference on Monday, "Money is nice, championships are better." Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler had the game of his life and helped the Heat roar back from a 14-point down in the 4th quarter. Butler scored 56 points, tying the 4th best scoring performance ever in a playoff game. The 56 points also became Butler's career high and a franchise playoff record. And the 14-point comeback also became Miami's biggest of the season. And former OU basketball superstar Trae Young is on the brink of elimination in the NBA playoffs. The Boston Celtics led the Atlanta Hawks 3-1. Game 5 is tonight at 6:30 in Boston. Back to you.
Thanks, Zoe. And Cameron, how far would you go to see your favorite artist in concert?
You know, I'm glad you asked. I definitely wouldn't go this far. Up next, what 2 people are doing to hopefully get the attention of the world's famous celebrity.
I'm Darian Curry at the OU Nightly Update Desk. Oklahoma City police are on the scene of a shooting that sent 2 people to the hospital. OCPD says 1 female was shot in the head and a male was shot in the leg twice. This happening on the northwest side of the city at 16th and North May Avenue. There is no suspect at this time. Sydney, Cameron?
Thanks, Darian. And the owners of a pizzeria in New Orleans are offering at least 1 year's worth of free pizza for 2 Taylor Swift tickets.
You heard that right. This video is actually from OU Nightly staff member Bailey Coyle and Amanda Sue. Both were lucky enough to see Taylor in concert.
And last, let's take one more look at the weather for this week. Colton Williams is here to tell us that.
Yeah, ladies, going into this evening, we'll have rain and storms off to western Oklahoma by 10 o'clock tonight. As we make it into this evening, we'll have showers and storms. They'll expand over. Really, the big wave comes in tomorrow morning for the morning commute. Going to be very wet tomorrow morning. Rain and storms all across southwestern Oklahoma. This is going to persist all day long tomorrow. Okay, so 80% for tomorrow. Rain and storms, they'll start to taper off Thursday and into Friday. 60s remain all week. Ladies, that's all from me. Back to you.
Well, thank you for watching OU Nightly, but before we go, we have a special guest here with us. Sydney, tell us who this is.
That's right. This is actually our cat, Weller Wallace. He is here to celebrate our very last OU Nightly anchoring
together.
day.
And we finally got to anchor together. We have been friends for over a year, and we finally made this happen, and we get to have our little buddy with us.
So thank you for watching OU Nightly. I'm Sydney Wallace.
And I'm Cameron Joyner. One last time, be sure to watch OU Nightly live weekdays at 4:30. Good night.